What's up, YouTube? It's the day before kickoff. It's going to be Oklahoma versus Baylor. If you notice, look at that. Got my Kyler Murray gear on. I'm ready, bro. Like, this is our biggest game so far this year, and I'm excited to see Oklahoma dominate the Baylor Bears. Okay, so let's go over some key points going into our matchup on Saturday. On the offensive side of the ball, who is going to step up if Kennedy Brooks cannot get going on the ground? It's got to be an 11-man effort, because I have a feeling that our offensive line is not going to be able to push around the Baylor Bears defensive front. I just don't think they're going to do it. And when Kennedy Brooks is getting, touched in the backfield and there's not like a lot of room for him to maneuver through the holes, yeah, you can't really blame him for not getting going. Most of the time that we've seen Kennedy Brooks get going this year, it's after Caleb Williams has broken the game open. So people start responding to Caleb Williams, and all of a sudden Kennedy Brooks has more room to maneuver on the field. So that'll be the key to getting Kennedy Brooks going. But if Kennedy Brooks doesn't get going in that event, who's going to be the person that's going to step up this week? Is it going to be Braden Willis? Is it going to be Austin Stogner? Is it going to be Drake Stoops? I'm going to tell you right now who I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Drake Stoops, and I'm going to probably make a video about this very soon. I think Drake Stoops is the most underrated player in college football. He's a hard worker. The guy just simply knows football, and anytime a big catch needs to be made, that guy's got clutch gene just written all over him, and we're very blessed to have Drake Stoops. Team first players always know how to respond in crucial moments because they're just so in tune with the game and what's going on. They always know the situation. And you see big time players, they a lot of times if they're not involved in the game plan, they're just checked out. They don't, But I will say this about the Oklahoma players, like, they may not get 12 targets, but like, look at a Jalen Hazelwood. Like, he'll come out with the 3-touchdown game. He's not checked out. Austin Stogner's not checked out. Braden Willis isn't checked out. All these guys somehow know how to come off the bench and just contribute to a winning program. That's what I love about these kids. Now, so I think Drake Stoops will probably be the guy who will step up. We'll see. Braden Willis looked absolutely great. The big thing right now is that we have a lot of people coming back from injury. Definitely the bye week was much needed. Obviously, the Baylor Bears took a loss last week. That L definitely hurt them. It was to Chandler Morris, who, I see why Lincoln Riley kind of fought to keep that kid on campus. I mean, look, that kid's pretty phenomenal. I'm not going to lie. And he put on a freaking show against Baylor last week, and I was pretty proud. I was very impressed by what I saw. One thing I want to say about our defense, what concerns me going into this game, now they're coming off probably one of their better performances of the year. This team's riding high right now. There's a lot of momentum swinging in Oklahoma's favor. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. I don't think we're overlooking this game. I just think we're looking to take care of business. And I think that's what you guys out there want to see too. I know that's personally what I want to see. Now, the Baylor Bears offensive line is really good. And that's going to cause our defensive front some problems. Right now, I think they're averaging almost 6 yards a carry. I think that's the highest in the Big 12 this year. So their offensive line's kind of looking Oklahoma-esque in stature and in accomplishment. So we cannot let these running backs. I have a problem that I'm worried that we're going to get carved up the middle. because I don't know if Perion Winfrey and Isaiah Thomas are big enough to do damage in those situations. So we got to figure out how to either stint or get them in positions where they can use their finesse and their speed to their advantage. I do think that although this team has been often maligned for their lack of tackling, I will say that on the perimeter and the edges, I feel very confident in Keith Lawrence and um, DJ Graham. A lot of these guys' ability to see the run as it goes to the edge and to set the edge, to not let it get dangerous. So I'm only really concerned right there in the middle. That means Brian Asamoah is going to have a really tough time going into this game. You're going to see Brian Asamoah and Pat Fields' name called a lot, and we're going to just have to get our stops when we can get them. Another thing that kind of worries me about the Baylor Bears is Gary Bohannon. And you might say, well, Mo, why are you worried about Gary Bohannon? Like, who's that? Well, when I just look at him, I see a big quarterback that can shrug off defenders that don't always like to wrap up and tackle. And potentially, if he can shrug off those defenders a la Ben Roethlisberger, you might see this guy uncharacteristically throw 300 yards, 400 yards in this game. Lord Jesus, I hope that doesn't happen, but we have to be honest with ourselves, the Oklahoma fans. A lot of times we've seen that happen. And that we see guys who basically are not very good quarterbacks have career days against our defense. I don't know how, and I don't know how that we end up being 9-0 and end up being Big 12 champions every year, because our defense always plays really good situational football. Like if they need one stop or one interception, somebody will actually step up and make that stop or interception or that fumble recovery. So, like, there's talent out there, but they only play in spots. And that's what basically makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack on a week-to-week basis, you know? So his size, Gary Bohannon's size, kind of worries me, and his ability to shrug off smaller finesse defenders who don't always necessarily have the most sound tackling technique. Okay, but overall, we're gonna win this game because we have Caleb Williams, 23 of 30, 6 touchdowns last week. Good Lord, if this guy threw 600, I don't even think you can do that on Madden, you know. But 6 touchdowns last week. He looks like he's really jumping into the Heisman conversation, especially with Michigan State taking a loss last week. That running backs, to me, I thought was the front runner, but now I think that's kind of wide open again. And so here we are, and Caleb Williams in his last 3 games of this 2021 season, he's going to play some tough opposition, and then he's going to play one of them again in the Big 12 championship. And so we'll get to see how he responds to a defense that gets a game plan against him for a second time. So that'll be significant. Now let us know a whole lot about Caleb Williams as his story kind of unfolds. But right now, I just think that Caleb Williams, if you look at most of his touchdowns, they've all come on broken plays. Very few of them are when he has time in the pocket. Most of the time, he is making the entire defensive line miss him, and then he's just launching a pass 50 yards down the field, and that little bit of extra time allows a guy like Marvin Mims to stretch the field vertically, um, or horizontally. But the point is, if we're gonna win this game, it's not gonna be because of Kennedy Brooks. It's gonna be because of Caleb Williams, and it's gonna be because Caleb Williams made two or three defenders miss, and made the most out of broken plays, and that's what separates him from the rest of college football. That's what makes him similar to Kyler. That's what makes him similar to Baker Mayfield. Um, Similar to Jalen, but I almost think he throws people open better than Jalen Hurts did. Um, and then at any given moment, on a fourth down, his situational running is phenomenal too. Like, he's not the best. Like, if you just run read option with him, he's not necessarily the best read option quarterback. And and when it comes to like just like, I don't know, getting 10 yards on a third down play, he's not necessarily the fastest that way either. What's really cool about his running is that on fourth down, he's money for a 60-yard run because you have everybody blitzing in the backfield. And then Caleb Williams, his leg drive, similar a la to Jalen Hurts, his leg drive is so strong that actually, if he makes somebody miss in the backfield, and I just said everybody blitz, now he can take off 60 yards down the field. You see what I'm saying? So it's situational scrambling and situational running that he really thrives at. It's not necessarily that he's the fastest kid or that he's like Michael Vick. His playing style is not like Michael Vick at all. If you watch Caleb Williams' playing style, he's a drop back quarterback. I mean, he might try to extend the play or try to find somebody open, but for the most part, Caleb Williams, he's a drop back quarterback, and he's looking to throw a bomb. Like, he wants to score a touchdown with his arm. But if you put that rock in his hand, 4th and 1, 50-yard line, guess what's going to happen every time? 50-yard touchdown. Boomer Sooner. Let's go. Oklahoma's going to dominate the Baylor Bears tomorrow. We're going to all be celebrating, hopefully. And we're going to all be talking about how Caleb Williams is almost godlike. See you guys.